Well, hello everybody, and welcome back. We are here today in the Copper Town Cookbook, which is from the ghost town of Jerome, Arizona. Now, I don't know if all of you knew this or not, but I actually have another channel where I do some traveling, and I visited a few ghost towns. I'll put a link to my other channel down in the description for you. But today we're going to be cooking out of this. I have not actually been to Jerome yet. That's on a list for places to check out in the future. But we are going to be making a recipe out of this, which was put together kind of as a fundraiser by some of the people in Jerome to kind of keep the town going a little bit. And the recipe we've got today is called Hamburger Onion Pie. And it's going to be using some Bisquick and carnation and an ingredient that I was not familiar with until this video, which is accent. That was a new one to me. I thought it was one of those ingredients that time had kind of forgotten, but when I looked into it, it's not. It's still around, so I picked some up today at my local store, and accent is basically MSG. We're going to start with the crust. This recipe starts off pretty simple for the crust, since we just have a cup of Bisquick and a half cup of carnation milk, well, evaporated milk. The recipe just says carnation milk, but to my knowledge, that's the only milk that carnation makes. So we're going to stir these two things together and create a quick and easy dough, which is going to be the base for this pie. The recipe actually says that we are supposed to knead this dough about 10 times, but this is not a very thick dough, so I'm just going to kind of roll it around here until we get something that's a little bit stiffer. And here's what we've ended up with. Now, our recipe says that we're going to roll this out to fit a 9-inch pie pan. So I have dusted a little surface here that we can work from. And we'll roll that out to fit the pie pan. Alright, now admittedly, I'm not very good at doing pie crust. This is not your traditional pie crust, obviously being made with Bisquick. However, we'll see if I can actually transfer this over without it being just a goopy mess. And from what I'm seeing so far, I think that answer is going to be a no, because I got a hole in the middle of it as I'm rolling it here to transfer over. But that's okay. So I kind of just patched it together with whatever dough I could put in the holes, and this is what I came up with. It does not look perfect by any means, but here's the deal. Your food doesn't have to look perfect. It just has to taste good, okay? We're going to go with what we got here. We're going to continue on to the filling, and that's going to start with beef and onions. That's all that's going in this filling. Now, since onions is in the name, I kind of kept my onions chopped pretty large, just so they would be a noticeable part of this pie. But we're going to saute that over some medium heat here for a while until, as the recipe says, the meat loses its color, so until we're browned. We're not technically done with this yet because we need to add just a few things here. We've got some salt and pepper and that accent that I was telling you about before, which is the MSG, monosodium glutamate. And there that goes. And we're just going to stir that in. And we also have 2 more tablespoons of Bisquick that we're going to mix into this, most likely as some sort of thickener. And that is what it ends up looking like at the end of all this. We're going to put that into the crust that we created with the Bisquick. Just spread that out a little bit. Again, it doesn't have to look perfect, it just has to taste good, right? 2 more ingredients to go and we're done with this puppy. We've got 2 eggs and we're just going to whisk those up a little bit here. And to that we are going to add 1 cup of small curd cottage cheese. Now, I feel like cottage cheese is one of those ingredients where you either like it or you really don't. Growing up where I did, cottage cheese was almost treated as like a side even at some restaurants, or let's say you're having a sandwich at lunch, then you could have cottage cheese along with that. But I feel like now that I live in a more city area, cottage cheese is treated more as an ingredient than it is an actual thing that you would eat by itself. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below your take on cottage cheese. But I'm going to mix that up just a little bit here. And then we're going to add that to the top of our pie. So I'm just going to spread that around a little bit so everything gets the egg and cottage cheese mixture. And then that's going to go into a 375 degree oven for, what's it say, half an hour, 30 minutes. But first, I almost forgot, we're going to sprinkle this with some paprika. So here's the real test. How is it? It is kind of interesting. I thought that the egg and cottage cheese mixture would kind of soak down into the meat, but it really didn't. It mostly just kind of sat on top and created this almost custard-like consistency. But here we go. We got some crust, we got some meat and onions, we've got some of that topping. Let's see. The flavor reminds me a lot of something my mom used to make, and with it being Bisquick and the eggs and all of that, she used to make some different impossible pies. She would make a tuna impossible pie, she would make a cheeseburger impossible pie, and while the exact flavor isn't the same, it's got some reminiscent qualities of that, again, because it has some of those same ingredients with the Bisquick and the eggs and all of that. But this is a solid little recipe. It's different than I thought it was going to be, but it's not bad. The crust is fine. It's like you would expect Bisquick to be, like a biscuit, kind of in texture, although it's thin. And the topping is interesting as well, with that eggy on top, and then the hearty meat and onions underneath. Give it a try. We'll see what you think. See you next time here on Recipe Reviver.